Welcome to the Deadlifts and Pizza podcast, where we discuss no BS fitness and nutrition.
We're your hosts. I'm Laura.
And I'm Jamie.
Let's get into it.
So I'm a little concerned.
Okay.
Because I had a Diet Coke the other day.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And I was following, by accident, I'm following this nutritional scientist on Instagram.
Are you going to be okay?
And yeah, no. I thought I was okay.
Oh, no.
But it turns out that according to this nutritional scientist on Instagram, and I don't really know what her qualifications are, but I know that she said in one of her videos, I am a nutritional scientist. So
it's got to be true.
Exactly.
It's got to be. That's who she is.
There's no lies on the internet, especially Instagram.
No.
It's full transparency. So it's just, it's kind of like a .org when you're online,
And
on
being
Google.
A nutrition coach makes you a nutritional scientist. That's how
absolutely.
That works.
Yeah,
it's how that works.
Because
you've listened to other people on Instagram talk, so you know things.
100%.
You just know
100%.
things.
Yeah. So, right, exactly. To my point, this nutritional scientist said in one of her videos that the chemicals in all soda corrodes you from the inside.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I'm freaking screwed because I didn't realize that I was going to die from this. And it turns out I am.
This epidemic that's going around, everyone in their sodas.
Yeah, I'm really concerned. So I don't know how much time I have.
The hospital is full, or the morgue, really. The morgue is full of people.
All the people
from drinking diet soda.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is there's no amount of water that can kill you. So she also blatantly said, because somebody else was trying to argue with her in the comments. They were like, this isn't really actually true, which I mean, screw you, man. Again, this is Instagram.
She's
Everything's
a nutritional
true.
scientist.
Exactly.
Dude.
You don't doubt nutritional scientists. The qualifications that makes her a nutritional scientist, what a douche. So he was coming on being like, here's all of these reasons why I disagree with you, which is dumb. And was basically saying, if you drink enough water, that can also kill you. And she said that that's not true.
Oh.
So, I mean, we can drink as much water as we want. Yeah.
We won't drown, if we drink too much water. That wouldn't happen.
No, there's no limit. So
there's no limit. You could literally drink a whole pool worth of water, and you're going to
probably in within a minute or two if you can handle it, and you'd be fine.
You'd be fine.
Yeah. If it's chlorinated, and you probably
then you're in trouble. Then you're in trouble.
We should ask her to make a reel on that. Actually, could you talk to us about chlorine in the water?
Because she's going to be my go-to from now on.
Totally. No,
I got to know what she's got to say.
I would name drop. But I don't want to not that it would be hurting her reputation. I would really be bumping her up and getting her, lots of, but,
she's awesome. She's one of my
amazing.
Favorites.
One of my favorites.
She's so sweet and compassionate.
Always.
Yeah.
Whenever somebody disagrees with her way of just approaching them, she doesn't just take screenshots of everything they said and then make her own post about it. Just to berate them even more. She doesn't do that. It's compassion and understanding and conversation. And that's really the only way to do it.
Yeah. And if you eat food that you probably shouldn't, according to her, on holidays, that's your fault, especially on made up holidays. What holiday was that?
What was that?
What holiday was the made up holiday?
St. Patrick's Day?
No.
It was something similar though.
Veterans Day?
It was something like that, or it's not a major holiday.
Yeah, it was Memorial Day or Veterans Day or something.
Yeah, and it was what was it? If you complain to me about the food that you eat, that's your fault.
Fat or something.
Yeah, if you gained weight, after St. Patrick's Day, that's your fault, and you have nobody to blame but yourself.
And I'm like, girl, they're all made up holidays.
Yeah. So if you can't tell by now, this is sarcasm. Still not going to name drop, but please don't listen to everything you see on the internet.
Especially when they try to call other people and they're the ones who need to be called out, she literally made a whole post calling out somebody when she was the one that needed to be called. She thought she was superior in this. Yeah,
exactly. And I think the frustrating, I think anybody listening got the point of the story. The thing that drove me nuts about it as well was the person that was arguing with her in the comments about soda corroding you from the inside was actually very polite. Like she screenshotted everything and then made another post sharing the screenshots in order to try to prove she was right. It's some kind of moral superiority.
And she was the one that looked like an idiot.
She looked like an idiot, first of all, because you're both kind of right. Yeah. Also, like I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that the things in soda are safe, but to say that any amount of soda corrodes you from the inside is ridiculous. Yeah. And the point the guy was trying to make was exactly that. Like, let's be moderate here. You know that water can also kill you. So she decided to take that and make him. Can you believe this guy said that if I drink 164 ounces of water a day, I will die? So I'm going to, as a nutritional scientist, I'm going to do an experiment and I'm going to put it right here on Instagram. And if you actually read his thing, he didn't say that even, which is also funny.
And she called him out for something about like because he said something about sugar is only, bad if it comes with the overeating of calories is his point. It's the overeating of calories that's the bad part. And she took and then he went back and he said, repeated that, but reworded it in a different way. And she was like, oh, I love when people just I forgot how she worded it, but basically saying that he didn't say that the first time and now he's backtracking. Oh, I love when people backtrack.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah. I think she was saying that he was saying sugar's bad and she was trying to be like, sugar isn't inherently bad. Like, then why are we saying that soda's inherently bad because it corrodes you from the inside? I don't know. And her evidence, by the way, because she was like, show me your evidence that she was like requesting articles and he posted a Healthline article and she was like, oh, it's funny that that's a Healthline article. But her evidence the entire time was a study of a rat that was sitting in Mountain Dew and it was sitting in there for like a very long time and it ended up like dissolving. That was her evidence. That there was a mouse in Mountain Dew for like a month and it dissolved. So that like how it's just,
I'm sure if you put it in orange juice, it would have did the same thing.
Exactly. Like acidic things. Like that's what happened. It's just mind blowing to me. But anyway, so yeah, so I'm gonna die because I had Diet Coke.
I'm so sorry. I'll miss you.
Yeah, I'll miss you too, but hopefully I can get the next Empyrean book before I pass.
Yeah. That's
all I'm hoping for. But in heaven, I'm sure that the books just come out like every other day. There's a new one. So
that's true.
Anyway, moving on. I was reading something recently about, I thought this was cool. So this is about endurance training, but it's called the 80-20 method of like training for like a marathon.
Okay.
And the idea of 80-20, which I love anything called 80-20, right?
It's the best.
It's the best because it means you don't have to be perfect. Like you're putting it right out there.
Yep.
Yeah, wiggle room. Except this is almost flipped. I thought it was going to be like 80% of some certain kind of vigorous training and 20% low volume, whatever. It's actually flipped. It's 80% of the time that you spend running and training for like a marathon. I'm going to use that as an example. Should be like zone 1 or 2, which is really low heart rate zone. Like most people can handle zone 1 or 2 for long periods of time. And if you think about training for a marathon, you would normally not think to spend most of your time training in such a low zone. But it's the idea of very contrasting training, right? So it's 80% in this zone 1 or 2, but the 20% should be spent in zone 4 or 5, like top 100% close to maximal heart rate. So hit and like zone 1 or 2. And go ahead.
Is that so you don't get burnt out?
Yeah. So the main idea, most people think you have to train or would maybe flip this, like 80% of it you need to be training. And most people would train in between zones 1 and 2 and 4 and 5. Somewhere in a 3 and a 4.
That's
right. Most people would be like, oh, I need to be like at this higher intensity because I need to work my capacity. But the idea is that with that 80%, when you're doing that kind of low zone 1 or 2, you're improving your endurance by building volume, which is like really necessary for endurance, and improving your like aerobic capacity. And then those high intensity training bursts, 20% of your training is driving those physiological and performance adaptations. And those combined together are enough / superior for then taking you into the race and having to push yourself on both of those areas, versus most people try to push within like a zone 3 or 4 most of the time. And yeah, it can burn you out and make you actually perform subpar when you're actually going into your race or whatever it might be.
Interesting. So would you, for the zone 1 and 2, would you increase the distance each time, like each
Probably
week, you know, trying to get closer to the distance that the marathon would be?
Yeah, I don't know if you would be pushing closer to the distance that the marathon would be per se, but definitely like
Yeah, because you don't want to
increasing.
do like the whole marathon. But
Yeah,
yeah.
increasing your distance, but keeping the heart rate in that zone. So we're building the volume without burning out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
I thought that was neat. I like the idea of that. There's a different word, and it's not contrasting. It's oh, I might even be able to pull it up. But this is what our friend Dr. Stacy Sims talks about. You know, with polarized. That's the word I'm looking for. Polarized training. So
Okay.
instead of, most people do not polarize their training. They're not doing kind of light volume building, endurance building things mixed with heart healthy things, mixed with this high intensity, high heart rate. We're not polarizing our training. Most people are just making themselves really tired by going somewhere in between those two things.
Which the in between is the worst.
Yeah.
Like I that's what that makes me feel the worst.
It's the least optimal for almost everything. You know what it can be good for is, a lot of people talk about this, and I don't feel this, but people talk about it, is the endorphin rush
Mm-hmm.
of like doing certain things. And mostly it's kind of in that middle zone. Like, oh, I do this because of the endorphin rush.
Because
I
it's
do,
hard.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I do that. I've done that stuff too. And I don't feel any better or different than, I actually feel way better after strength training or like a hit thing, or even like a really long walk or something like that. Like I feel really good after those things. It's not really any much different. I just feel more tired when I do just the tired stuff. The tired stuff.
Yeah. That's
But
interesting.
anyway, polarized training.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm assuming it's very similar to contrast training. It's just a different word for it.
Yeah, I like the word polarized.
You like polarized better than contrast?
High contrast, I guess I could say, because it's not just contrast, it's like high contrast.
Yeah.
Polarized is like one word that you instantly think like black and white. Republican, Democrat. ACOTAR, fourth wing. Sorry.
Are they polar opposites?
Not really.
That would be more contrast.
Yeah, that would be contrast.
All right.
I have a game.
A game? Okay.
Yeah, from our conversation this morning, or this evening for you, we were chit-chatting about this. You'll know exactly. I want to do Kiss, Marry, Kill Fitness Edition.
Okay. All right.
Good one, right?
Yeah, I like that.
All right. So Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Okay.
You got to pick one to kiss, one to marry, one to kill. Obviously, this is more like a ranking system. Least to like,
I would say kiss would be like it's a fling. Like I want to do it part-time. Marry would be it's like lifelong, whatever. Kill means no, done.
Send it to the grave. So if you could take these three, I'm going to give you three things. I have a few different like chunks. I'm going to give you three things. Yeah, you have to keep, we have one that you do all the time, one that you do occasionally or engage in occasionally, and one that we're wiping off the face of the earth.
Okay.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
Kiss, marry, kill. Bosu ball, vibration plates, and shake weights.
Oh no.
You got to marry one. They're meant to be challenging. There's not going to be an obvious, I'm not going to be like strength training or like shake weights. You know what I mean?
All right. So I would marry the Bosu ball, kill the vibration plates, and kiss the shake weight.
Any reasoning for your ranking?
The Bosu ball, at least I could get something out of it. There's certain things you could do with it. It has some function, right? I don't think vibration plates has much function at all. And then the shake weight is just, it's the least worst of them. Or between the other two, you don't
have to shake the weight. You know what I mean? Like it's still a weight.
How much does it weigh?
That's a great question.
I
But
didn't know
any
it weighed.
amount of weight is better than 0. So even if they were 5, it could be like a 5-pound dumbbell.
Yeah.
That's just incredibly unstable because every time you pick it up, it wobbles.
It's just like someone, whoever, they were trolling. They were trolling when they made that.
Oh, yeah. All right. I think I'm going to agree with your ranking. I was considering kissing vibration plates only because similar to Bosu, they do something.
Yeah.
I mean, you can elevate yourself up onto it in some way.
Okay.
Like similar with Bosu, like I'm imagining you doing like a one-armed push-up.
That's true.
You know,
okay.
I don't know. I mean, minimal, but if I feel like they're similar.
Yeah.
But I was considering kissing that one and just ditching the shake weights.
I could get behind that. I could get behind any of them because it's just the worst choices ever.
Yeah. All right. Well, next one. Ready?
Behind any of them.
Kiss, Marry, Kill. CrossFit, Orange Theory, and Beachbody. Or Body. Right, formerly Beachbody.
I have to think about this.
I think I have my ranking.
Okay.
I think that I would... Oh, actually, I'm changing my mind. I don't know if I would marry CrossFit or Beachbody. I think I would marry CrossFit and kiss Beachbody and kill Orange Theory. That's what I would do. I would marry CrossFit, kiss Beachbody, and kill Orange Theory. All exercise is good exercise, I maintain, but the reason I'm killing Orange Theory is because they specifically run their entire program by like heart rate zones and how you can keep your heart rate as high as possible the entire time while also giving you weights. And I just fundamentally disagree with that entire model. So I'm killing it. I like Beachbody. I don't like Beachbody. But what I do like about Beachbody is that it makes fitness really accessible for a lot of people. I think they're going downhill. I think they were doing better like 5 to 10 years ago. But having a variety of programs that include strength and cardio and a mix, and no, they're not going to be incredibly optimal in terms of like science, but I like that it makes it very accessible and engaging, and it got a lot of people moving that maybe wouldn't have been moving before. So I like that for that. CrossFit I'm going to marry, even though I really don't love CrossFit. And the only reason I'm putting it as marry is because it does barbell training. And if it's done correctly, which it oftentimes is not, but if it's done correctly, it can really improve somebody's strength and endurance and cardio and all of that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I would marry CrossFit because of the same reasons, the barbell. And I think it made barbell training a little bit more popular. I think it was part of the reason that barbell training became more popular, and that squat racks are a thing. And like, because before, a long time ago, it wasn't easy to get a squat rack in your house, to find something like that. So they've been positive in certain areas. I also wouldn't get rid of CrossFit because it is a sport also. So people who that train for CrossFit, it's like a sport. And if you do it for that reason, great. And there's some of the fittest people I've ever seen. And I think I would kill, I was going back and forth. I was going to have the same ranking as you, but it's really hard. I hate Beachbody because they like, because I have a history with them,
They prey on people.
Yeah. And I have a history with them, and they taught me all the wrong things. And because of that, I was actually doing it the right way before I met Beachbody, but they were all about like, basically how many calories you could burn in your workout.
No, stop like, eating enough and lifting heavy. Don't do that. Yeah. That's not going to get you toned.
High intensity, everything like super high intensity. Don't worry about taking rests in between your exercises. Don't do that. So I know there are some that they have that are a little bit better than others, but overall, I don't like them. So I would kill them. And then kiss Orange Theory, because at least I would be like, okay, I'm going to get a little bit of cardio in here.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. Kiss, Marry, Kill. Salmon, ground turkey, and tofu. And I purposely said ground turkey and not ground beef because I knew you'd marry ground beef.
Okay. I'm 100% killing tofu. That's easy. Because I
knew that too.
Ground turkey or salmon. I'm going to kiss ground turkey. I like ground turkey. I do eat ground turkey. But salmon is so nutritionally
I know you like it.
dense.
Yes.
Salmon is like so good for you. So I would marry salmon.
But if it was ground beef, would you marry ground beef?
Yes, I couldn't give up ground beef. And I
but you can still kiss it.
I wouldn't only kiss it because I would marry it.
Exactly. That's why I didn't put ground beef. What if I put steak? Would you marry it?
Yes.
What if it was ground beef and steak and salmon? I think you would marry steak. And, oh, you know what I think you would do? I think you would marry steak. And I think just for the nutritional benefits, you would kiss salmon. And I think you would let ground beef go as hard as that would be for you.
That's actually very close to my thinking, but switch the ground beef and the steak. Just because ground beef, I feel like I can do much more with it with recipes, where steak, I mean, I cut it up and put it in things.
Couldn't you ground up the steak? Just get a grinder. Just get a meat grinder.
That's cheating. Then I have both of them. Then I'm having both.
You could cut it up very, very small.
Yeah, but that's a pain in the ass. Like, I already want it ground up. Like, the whole point is that it's like easy. Like, I just grab it out of the fridge or freezer, I mean, and defrost it, and then I'm ready to go. I don't have to grind it up or do anything crazy with it. That would make me want to kill it.
What do you think my ranking would be for salmon, ground turkey, and tofu?
Oh, I don't know. Salmon would be Mary.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Kiss ground turkey and kill tofu.
No, I would kiss tofu.
Ew.
I would. I'd make out with it.
Really? You like tofu that much?
I love tofu. I could eat tofu every day. Like, if people don't like tofu, it's because they don't know how to cook it. Like, it's so good. I love tofu. But I also love ground turkey. But the reason I chose tofu is because if I had salmon, like, this is in that world where if I had salmon, I don't really need any more animal protein. Like, I love it and I'll eat it, but I could get by without it. But salmon, I feel like I can't. But if I had salmon, I could kill everything else if I had tofu. And I feel like that's a really good balance for me, because I also feel like I don't want to eat as much meat as I do. So there's like that part of me, like I go in and out of like trying to eat less meat or vegan, vegetarian, all this stuff.
See, I'm like, it's like me, it's the opposite. It's like, I don't need the tofu. There's no reason for that in my life because there's animals. Yeah. So why have tofu?
See, I'm the opposite. I mean, not the opposite because I'm not like vegan, but I'm like, man, tofu is such a great protein source and we don't have to kill animals for it.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. So, but if I had salmon and tofu, I'd be good. Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
All right. Ready for the next one? I think this is going to be hard. Oh, maybe not that hard.
Okay.
Kiss, marry, kill. Barbells, dumbbells, and cables.
All right. I would... I would marry barbells. I can't just do them periodically. I would marry those barbells. And I would kiss the dumbbells, and I would kill the cables, which would make me sad.
Yeah.
But I would do it.
I think I'm in the same. Some part of me wants to marry the dumbbells just because you can do everything with dumbbells and you can't do everything with barbells. Mm-hmm. But barbells elevate everything.
But it's so much easier to add weight to a barbell than it is dumbbells.
Right, which is why it elevates everything.
Yeah.
But you can't train
You could train
unilaterally.
Everything. You can't train unilaterally. Well, you can with your legs. Like, you can do, like, split squats and things.
Yeah. Or you could really master,
step-ups?
like, a one-arm bench press. Could you imagine?
But that's why the other things are in there supplementally, and you're kissing them.
That's true. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
We have an open relationship.
Yeah.
We're married, but we're free to kiss others.
Yeah.
All right, like, last one.
You're my number one, but I got to get out there sometimes, you know?
Yeah. All right. I'm with you. Barbells, married, dumbbells. You're right. All right, last one. Bulgarian split squats. So I was trying to think of things that I think suck in the gym, or that most people think suck.
Yeah.
So I don't think Bulgarian split squats suck, but most people do.
Crazy.
Or something that ignites that fire in the muscle that is just painful.
Mm-hmm.
Or something that sucks. So this is where I'm coming from with this. I don't feel like I need to explain it. Bulgarian split squats, core circuits. Like, you know, when you do like a core circuit at the end of your workout and it's back-to-back things and your core is on fire and some people like cramp up, like those types of core circuits. Or snatch grip Romanian deadlifts.
Okay.
So snatch grip Romanian deadlift is basically they're very wide. You're holding it wide with your arms almost out to the ends of the barbell in a grip that you would use for a snatch, but you're just doing an RDL. So it's harder to hold on to because of your grip. It also is a little bit, you can't go as heavy because of your grip. And it really burns your lats because it's hard to hold on to in that position. So if anyone doesn't know what a snatch grip RDL is.
So I would marry Bulgarian split squats because I do them the most often.
Mm-hmm.
I like snatch grip Romanian deadlifts, but I'm not going to do them every single time or as often as I would Bulgarian split squats. And then I would kill the ab circuit. So I would kiss
because you'd get core in everything else that you do. You don't really need to do these burny ab circuits.
Not doing it. I cramp up so easily working my abs.
So does my husband. Yeah.
I don't know why. It doesn't matter.
Never do.
I was doing planks the other day and I'm like, oh, a plank, that doesn't usually do that. But no, and I never do. Actually, I rarely ever do planks anymore because I can hold it so long. It's like, am I even doing anything?
You're just too elite.
Yeah, I'm just too elite for planks. But I hadn't done it in so long, and it's funny because I'm like, oh wow, I feel this so much more in my core than I used to when I used to plank because I know how to engage things properly, probably. But so because I was actually engaging my core towards the end, I'm like, oh, cramps, go away, cramps. Yeah.
You know, a way to make a plank, just even you saying that, I was thinking, well, scooch backwards a little bit so that your elbows, when you're on elbow planks, your elbows aren't directly under your shoulders. There's a very slight angle, right? So you're pushing away a little bit. And then I tell people in Taekwondo, like, hold the marble, a marble in your belly button. Imagine like trying to hold onto a marble in your belly button, and that causes people to like contract because most people are just hanging out. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
they're leaning a little forward on their shoulders. So there's an angle of their arm, but it's like backwards angle. So leaning forwards and they have these real relaxed core. And their hips are kind of hanging.
Yeah, no. I was in the right spot. You could also do the RKC planks where you're like pushing back this way and you're pushing forward this way. So you're contracting everything.
Oh,
you ever see those? You can't hold them very long. It's not something you're going to hold for a minute like you would a plank. It's going to be like 10 seconds. And you're going to contract everything. If you do it right, you shouldn't be able to hold it for longer than 10 seconds.
Or something else I'll tell people, well, not I don't like this one, but it works, is like trace the alphabet with your belly button. So try to make like A, and it's very tiny movements, but it causes you to contract. But holding a marble does the same thing. All right. Kiss, Marry, Kill, fitness edition. And want to get into some questions?
That's all you got? Yeah.
That was it. That's it for this time. We'll bring it back.
We should do that again.
Like underrated and overrated, we can bring it back.
Yeah. There was something else.
All right, ready for some questions?
Yeah. There was something else I was thinking when you said that. I'm like, oh, we should play this game too sometime, but I don't remember what it was. But I'll remember it next time. And
I like games.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's not really a game. There's no winner, but I like the,
Yeah.
It's fun. All right, ready? Question. I know progressive overload is a thing, but should it be happening week to week? Just curious, as I've been able to move up in weights just about weekly, but it's making me feel like I'm not starting off heavy enough. I'll usually do 10 to 15 reps of a light weight to warm up and then go into my normal weight and push another 3 to 4 reps or a full set in a heavier weight than last time.
Wait, so she's saying it's making her feel like she's not lifting heavy enough?
Yeah, so it sounds to me like this person is, if she's starting off so light and she's able to progress within the workout because she starts out with 10 to 15 reps of a light weight to warm up and then go in and she'll be able to push 3 to 4 reps or a whole other set. So she's like, well, was I not starting out heavy enough? So that's like within the workout, right? But then the initial question is phrased, I know progressive overload is a thing, but should it be happening week to week? So then there's also like, well, should I be adding weight to what I'm doing every single week? So this is kind of like, this takes my brain in two different directions. One is like how she's choosing weights in each individual workout, but also like the progression of, the idea of progressive overload. Like, does it happen every week? When does it slow down? Why? How much should I push for?
So you should try to progressive overload week to week, but you're not going to be able to do it every week. There's some weeks where you're not going to feel like it. There's some weeks where you're going to be not as strong as normal. In the beginning, it's going to be a lot easier. As you become more advanced, you're not going to be able to do it every week. You're just not going, because otherwise we'd be lifting thousands of pounds. So that's not going to happen. If you're newer, sounds like she's newer.
Yeah.
Then you should be able to. And doing it in the workout is actually a good way to do it. I was talking about this on the bonus episode I did. But a good way to do it is like, let's say you were doing squats and you did 100 pounds and you were able to do however many reps with that 100 pounds, like no problem. Then the next set, up the weight, the next set, up the weight until you get your last set. And then the next week, start with your top weight that you use and keep that going. So every set, keep adding weight to it. And eventually you'll get to a spot where you're like, okay, this is really heavy. But it's a good way to do it, especially in the beginning, because you don't really need to go as heavy in the beginning because your body's going to make changes because it's not used to the lifting to begin with. You don't need to do as much. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's
I was going to say kind of what you said is one way to progressively overload when you're in the beginning is just getting up to knowing what weight is your working set in the first place.
Yeah.
So like you said, if you're increasing the weight every single set because you're trying to, okay, well, I did that. Now I can go heavier. Now I did that. I can go heavier. And it's like every set until your last one. And then you start there the next time and you're still going up. At some point, you're going to start with something challenging enough that you can't just add weight the next set. And so you will have found the weight that should be your work, that you should be doing that for all 3 or 4 sets, like that weight.
Yeah. I was going to say there's other ways to progressive overload too. You don't have to just add weight. Reps also. You could do the same scenario, reps work too. So if you're able to do 5 reps at that 100 pounds, then you do 6 reps and 7 reps, if you have like a range that you're supposed to be hitting. But you can also add more volume and do other ways. There's other ways to progressive overload. But I feel like in the beginning, the weight is the easiest one. Just keep adding weight or reps. Yeah,
exactly. It's similar to losing weight too. Like when somebody has a lot of weight to lose, it tends to come off quicker. But if you're getting down to 25% body fat, you can't expect to be losing 5 pounds a week, like you might have been able to do when you were, 80 pounds overweight. So it's very similar. But the other thing is the closer you get to actually realizing, it's like your mind kind of progressively overloads too, because you have a lot of these questions when you're at the beginning, but the more you learn and the more you actually push yourself, the more you just start to understand and realize that your expectations have to shift, and it just happens naturally. Like you reach a point where you go, oh, okay. Oh, I know what this is supposed to feel like now. Oh yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to add this kind of volume every single week,
Yeah. The first time you go to failure, you're like, oh, that's what that feels like.
Exactly. And it's like transforms your mind. You're like, all right.
Oh,
all right.
I was lifting. It was hard before, but it wasn't this.
Yeah. And I like the idea what you said before is like you should be trying to every week, but you won't necessarily. But but it's the idea of going in with that mindset. What did I do last week? Mm-hmm. What should I be doing this week, or what should I be aiming for? And maybe it's like, oh, I did 125 pounds. Let's see if I can add 2.5 pounds to that. Or maybe it's, oh, I did 125 pounds. That felt hard. I felt like I was going to die. Let me just do it again and see if I feel less like dying. Mm-hmm. That's progress. You know what I mean?
It is.
Oh, I did it for 6 reps. Let's try 7.
Sometimes it's the bar speed. So I was able to squat the same weight, but this time I was able to get that weight up a little bit faster than I was
exactly.
Last time. Or,
oh, I did 125 pounds as my top set. It was really hard. Let me try to do it for my last 2 sets instead of just my top set. Yeah. All right, next week, let me try to do that for all 3 sets with the same reps. Because once you do that 125 for all 3 sets, but you did 6 reps, you'll do 6 reps the first time. The second time, you're going to be like, oh my God, 5. Next time, you might be like, oh my God, 4. And so then next week, all right, let me try to do 6 for all 3. And so it's these micro goals. And those micro goals get even more micro as you go along, to the point where you might be like every other week, you're going to try to set something slightly new in one exercise. And this isn't every exercise. This is like maybe 2 in your whole workout, likely 1, right? So
yeah, the way I do it for most workouts, it's like like if I'm doing like powerlifting, that's a little bit different. But if just a regular workout, the way I do it is I usually start a new program at a lower RPE. So I'll start at like a 7 or something. And then every week, I will progressive overload every week until I get to that last week where I'm going for it. And then I go back and do a new program. And at the beginning of a new program, I'm doing new exercises, new reps, new, different things. So it's a new stimulus for my body anyway. So I don't think I need to go all the way to failure or as close to failure anyway. So that's the way I do it. And then every week I try to, and then it gives me something to aim for and try to improve and whatever.
Yeah. Well, and it's a natural deload too. So you take that first week to kind of like lower the weight on purpose. Exactly.
Because I can't go crazy.
Yeah. This made me think about something else too. What was it? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, all right, next question. Why does a coach need a coach? It confuses me if a coach already knows what they're doing. So in fairness, neither one of us has a coach currently.
No. But it can be helpful to have a coach because a lot of different reasons. One, you always should be learning. Like you shouldn't just be like, oh, I know everything now. Like you always need to be learning. So you can always learn something from somebody else, even if you do know a lot. They might know some things that maybe you don't know, or it might not even be what you know, but the way they do things, they might do it a little bit differently than you do. So you can always learn from somebody else. So that's one. But 2, it is helpful to have like the accountability, or maybe you're just tired from making everybody else's programs that you don't feel like making your own. You're like, I just want somebody to tell me what to do. It's like, I can clean my house, but I would rather someone else do it for me.
Right. I have the skills to clean my house.
Right.
Why hire a housekeeper? That's actually a good analogy, because that was kind of going to go into what I was going to say, but that's a perfect analogy for it. That's almost like a mistake in the way people think about a coach. Because think about it as you don't hire a house cleaner because you don't know how to clean your house. That's not the purpose of doing it. And I guess it's not a great analogy, because I can think of like a lot of ways that this is different, but it's similar. Like, sure, you can hire a trainer or a coach because you don't know. Like if you don't know, you probably should hire a trainer or coach, but that's only a micro, like minuscule amount of what that person is doing for you. And like you said, having somebody getting outside of your own head a little bit and have somebody else do things in a way, because it can actually be very motivating just to be forced to come outside of your head and do things in a different way is just kind of motivating. So when you're feeling a little, and the motivation and the accountability and just taking the thinking out of it for you. So you don't have to always be thinking about it. You have somebody else looking at you, like third, perspective or whatever. That's the reason why a lot of people, and some of the best trainers and coaches will go through periods of time having a trainer or coach for themselves.
Yeah. And there's so many times when I'm going through something, and I was just thinking about this today, where it's like, if I wasn't me and I could get outside of me and look at it from an outsider's perspective, what advice would I give me? And it's always different than what I'm doing. If I was actually talking to me as another person, it's different. It's a different way of looking at it.
Definitely.
So you could be more objective.
100%. It's so much easier to be more objective when it's not yourself.
Yeah.
So it's not about knowing what you're doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. That's not the reason for getting a coach.
Yeah, because even we deal with emotional type things of, should I be in a cut right now? Should I not be in a cut right now? Should
always.
I eat these many calories? Should I not be eating these many calories? And it would be a lot easier if someone was just like, no, you're doing this. And like, okay.
Yeah, follow the plan.
Yeah, just follow the plan and not have to be like,
Yep. Yeah. But I made the plan, so I can change the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Was my plan really a good plan to begin with? If I'm feeling this way, but if somebody else made the plan, it's totally different.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Question. I have access/time for the gym 1 day a week, plus a set of dumbbells at home. Can you help me with a 3-day split using gym equipment for 1 day and dumbbells the other 2? Should I focus on lower body like squats and deadlifts at the gym since I can go heavier? The gym also has cables, benches, etc. that I don't have at home. I mean, I can like broadly answer this. I'm obviously not going to create a strength training program right here on the podcast, but I do agree absolutely that the gym should be where this person does the heavier lifts. And I would even say in this situation, she's mentioning squats and deadlifts, which makes me think she already knows how to do those barbell exercises. So if this person wants a 3-day split with one of those days being at the gym, I would actually do 3 full body days. And I would take that one gym day to do bench, deadlifts, and squats. What do you think?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know she wanted to do deadlifts and squats. It's hard to do those on the same day. It's very taxing on your body to do both of those the same day. Like if I program those, it's one is heavy and then the other one is maybe.
Well, what do you think about alternating every other week is a heavy deadlift and a lighter squat?
Yeah.
And a heavy squat and a lighter deadlift. Like
that works. Yeah, that's how I would do it.
Yeah. And then you can go ahead and do heavy on the bench. Maybe alternate it depending on your level, but go ahead and go heavy. Maybe put some pull-ups or pull-up practice in there as well. And then just have that be it. Maybe end with some core or something. But if you put a lot of energy and focus in those 4 main movement patterns at the gym, you can burn out your muscles with dumbbells at home the other 2 days.
Yeah, she could probably even do pull-ups at home.
Depending. A lot of people don't have a bar.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have a bar. Guys, get yourselves a pull-up bar.
Super cheap to find one. You could get one that goes in your doorway.
Yeah. And you can do... Everybody wants to do a pull-up. Don't lie to me. If you say you don't, it's because you don't think you can. It's not because you don't want to. Everybody wants to be able to do a pull-up. Just have the pull-up bar. And I know the idea of hanging dead weight from that pull-up bar and trying to pull yourself up probably feels just, people don't even want to be confronted with that feeling, to be honest. I've noticed, like, I don't want a pull-up bar there because then I hang from it. I can't move. You can do so many other things. Get a set of bands. You can practice banded pull-ups. You can do banded pull-downs. You can do so many things that you could pull in that vertical, because we're always pulling horizontally, right? We're bending over and we're doing horizontal pulls. Get yourself a pull-up bar and a set of bands, and you can pull vertically, and you can start working on that strength to be able to get there. And then you have a reason to get there. Like, get a pull-up bar.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, sidebar. Cool. So, yeah, I mean, just to round that out, the other 2 days, I would say, should also be full body days with more unilateral work with the dumbbells, lots of unilateral, maybe Bulgarian split squats, and maybe single leg RDLs, depending on their balance and stability and stuff. It kind of depends on those. Yeah. But yeah, lots of unilateral stuff, higher reps, depending on the dumbbell range, stuff like that. Yeah. I actually like that program. I like that. I'm kind of intrigued by the idea. All right. Huh?
I didn't say anything.
Okay. Last question. I think this is a good question for you. Best ways to increase strength. I know I shouldn't go to failure every time, but how often should I try to push past my max? Should I be lifting 3 to 5 reps every week or mix it up? I feel stuck. Help.
So this depends on how experienced you are, because in the beginning, like if you're not super advanced, I think you should try to push a little bit every week and try to, do more weight, whatever. As you get closer, though, you can't do that. Otherwise, you hurt your back like I did. So you can't just keep pushing the weight and keep pushing the weight.
Even if you're an elite.
Even if you're, especially if you're elite, because it's just, that weight is really heavy.
It is.
It's really heavy. It's probably not too smart to do that. I think I did 265 by 3, and that's what hurt it. Which Dang. Is, I could do that. Like I could do it. It's just, and I did it, but I don't think my back liked it. So anyway, yeah, you can push it if you're a beginner. If you become more advanced, I wouldn't. I would just. So this is a hard question because it depends on so many things. Like, what is there like how to increase strength?
Yeah, what I'm thinking, this person is somebody who I'm imagining somebody who is doing deadlifts or squats or bench, and every week they're kind of doing in that 3 to 5 rep range, and it feels really heavy, but they've gotten to a weight where they can't really go past 5 reps. And if you're doing that every week, what do I do to push past this if I'm in a plateau, essentially with strength?
I would mix it up, so I wouldn't do the same thing every week. So do different rep. If you're always doing 3 to 5, maybe do 2, because doing the lower rep ranges are really good for strength. But you don't need to do 2 all the time because it's very taxing. But try to do 2. And if you do, like, let's say you could deadlift 200 pounds, but you could only do it for, all right, let's say you can't get past 200 pounds in your deadlift, and you're able to do 3 reps at 200 pounds. Then the next week, try to up it to 205, 210, something like that, but do 2 reps and do the 2 reps with that. And then the week after, or you could take a week in between if you need rest, like I do sometimes, but 1 week after, somewhere around there, do that same weight that you did with 2 reps and try to do 3. So now let's see if you can get to 205 with that same weight. So do 2 reps with it first, then go to 3 reps.
Yeah, I like that too, because a lot of people get stuck in that rep range, like, oh, I'm supposed to be 3 to 5. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, but purposely raise your weight so you can't do more than the bottom of that, like 2 or 3 reps. You can't do more. And then try to get back in that rep range with that same weight. Yeah. But also, if you're really pushing that much weight that you really can't get past, then it's probably a good idea to start mixing it up. Like, I like the idea of like 1 week going in and doing, I like 2. I also like cluster sets. So like doing 2 reps and then a 15 second break and then another 2 and then a 15-second break. I like doing those, and you can try that with the top weight, but I usually recommend like dropping the weight just a little bit and doing the cluster sets. And then maybe the next week you just go for volume, and then you try the weight again. And then maybe the next, and by volume, I mean like lower the weight and raise the reps. And then maybe 1 week you just do some isometric, like lifting. So I'm imagining like a bench press. So instead of just doing a top weight bench press, maybe you do lower weight, but you purposely pause in the middle and you hold it there for like a good 2 to 3 seconds before you push through. So you're training that isometric portion, which can really, really help with pure strength. So when you go back and do those, you might find more success. And it's just kind of like pairing these things little by little, but staying in that. And this is where I would recommend getting like a trainer or coach, because this is one of those things where if you get out of your own head, and because a lot of this is ego lifting too, we don't want to go in, oh, I'm already deadlifting 240 pounds. I don't want to go below that number. I feel like I should just be able to get it to 245. So you're never really, it's a kind of a similar idea to that 80-20 polarized training. Not the same. I'm not saying 80% of the time it should be lower necessarily, but you do need to like polarize it a little bit. So instead of constantly being there, you need to have some times where you push that and other times you purposely lower it. And this is where I would mess up, because I was following your program, but I was not wanting to follow it because I was ego lifting and I was seeing what you were lifting. And I was like, no, I got to push past this 240 every week. I was like, no, I'm stronger than this. I'm just going to throw weight on the bar. And it messes you up, because actually
you got burnt out at the end. You did not
get burned out. Your body will not adapt because you're not giving it, that enough polarization to be able to adapt in between.
Yeah.
So you have to, and this is where I would say hiring a trainer or a coach or following another program that's not you just going in the gym thinking you should be able to push past this, because that's going to keep you stuck.
Yeah, I agree. I like cluster sets too. I remember I gave you a program with cluster sets, and I think you were able to put a lot on your deadlift.
Well, yeah, when you drop it down only 2. I don't know. I don't remember.
I remember. I remember these things.
Good. Remember for me. Be my brain.
Yeah. Like, no, I mean, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm done.
All done? Okay.
Yeah. All done. All done podcast. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
No, awesome. Those were good questions. I like those ones.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening. If you want to drop your kiss, marry, kill for any of the categories that we did, we'd love to hear it. If you like this, share it with a friend. Please share it on social media, comment, 5-star review, all that good stuff helps us out greatly. And we will see you next week.
Bye. I thought we already said bye. Bye.
This is the official bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.